Hi and welcome to everyone joining us for this preview show. It is for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville meeting taking place on Tuesday, which will be the 12th. So Tuesday the 12th, looking forward to racing. But firstly, let's get the lowdown from Alistair Cohen. Two things, Alistair. Firstly, how are you doing? And I believe you are in Cape Town, so you can tell us a bit more about the weather patterns, because I've seen there's been quite a bit of rain in the Cape.
Yeah, Sheldon, I'm doing good, thank you. Trust you and the viewers are all in good shape as we start another week, obviously, with another Dead Monday. Well, we're obviously recording the show on Monday morning, and I've been in Cape Town for, 24 hours, and there has been a lot of rain. The last update that I got is that the meeting might move to Wednesday, so to lock horns with Hollywoodbets Greyville, but at the time of recording, obviously, that is not confirmed. So we got to treat it as if it's a Tuesday card. But with that said, yeah, there has been it's been a long winter according to all the locals here in Cape Town.
Yeah, as everyone knows out there, a lot of the meetings have been postponed, a few abandoned meetings and that. So let's hope that the meeting can go ahead. If not, they'll postpone it. At least we'll get some racing. But at this point in time, we stick to the Tuesday schedule. And let's see. Let's start off with race number 1. And this being a 10-race program, the exotics will only start in race number 2. First race, number 13, Maneki Neko, 18 to 10. Number 2, the Grey King is 4 to 1. With number 7, the Guarding Wall, 10 to 1. About number 4, Sail the Sky and Silver Platter. Now, Alistair, when it comes to Hollywoodbets Durbanville, we know the draw can be crucial. And the opening favourite is drawn out at 13 at this point in time.
Yeah, Sheldon, that's what makes this race so tricky for me. Obviously you got to take the draw into consideration. I was listening very carefully to you give out the betting, and the only first timer that's in the market is number 11, Silver Platter, a son of Silvano, out of a Reduced Choice mare, fine, but that's also drawn deep, and you'd expect to want a little bit further than 12.50 in time to come. If number 13, Maneki Neko, was drawn better, I'd make him undoubtedly a very, very hard horse to beat, but he's going to need a little bit of wherewithal from that draw. He holds, obviously, as main danger according to the market, number 2, the Grey King, who's got a draw on this occasion, so that might swing things around. So I'm going to give number 2, the Grey King, the slight vote of confidence, only because of the swing around in the draws, and also that he's likely to show improvement from his first start to second, and also having run on nicely in his first start. So I think there'll be more to come from number 2, the Grey King, from number 13, Maneki Neko. The first timers all inspire a little bit of confidence. Depends how much confidence we can have about them, all to a certain degree, as you'd expect in Cape Town, some well-bred first-timers. For me, the one that makes the most appeal is number 10, Counterattack. I know stable jockey Aldo de Meyer rides number 30, Maneki Neko, but number 10, Counterattack, is closely related to the likes of Vercingetorix. So that could be quite interesting, with a little bit of speed injected, hopefully, by Quarari. So I'll watch the betting on him, and I'll watch him go down to the start. But all in all, I think the Coastal Commander form might stand up. I'm going to go with number 2, the Grey King, from 13, Maneki Neko.
Right, let's move on to race number 2, and looking at the opening leg of the Bipot, they are betting 4 to 1 the field. Saying 4 to 1 the field, number 1, Tenanga, opened up 5 to 1, along with number 2, Nordic Chief. So numbers 1 and 2 have both shortened from 5 to 1 down 4 to 1 in the anti-post market. Barring those two, number 9, Lindbergh, 4 to 1. Klopsa, I think it's called, number 14, 4 to 1. So pretty much 4 joint favourites in the second race, and you've gone with numbers 2 and 14 in the Bipot. Alistair?
So I'm going to give the form of Coastal Commander the thumbs up here, Sheldon. My argument for race 2 is exactly the same as the argument for race 1. Even though Klopsa finished in front of Nordic Chief, now we've got a complete swing around in the draws. So Klopsa drawn widest of all, and Nordic Chief from a valuable draw. I think that form might just turn around. I know that the form of Boogie Fight has worked out quite nicely. Boogie Fight ran a reasonable race straight out the maidens when finishing third. just over a week ago, the two direct winners out of that form line of Boogie Fight have looked, fairly progressive. Those two direct winners, of course, being Whiskey Bravo and Hats Pride, two horses that won at a big price, but actually hit the line quite well when winning their races. So that does give the supports and 10 and go a little bit of impetus. But I think number 2 Nordic Chief and 14 Cops have got a bit more improvement to come. So I'm going to go 2 and 14 in my Bipot in that order as well. And then if there is any need for backup, and punters don't quite trust those two, I'd go with number 9 Lindbergh as the backup, because I think if you can get that close to Greeting My Master, a horse that I know Pete Steyn thinks a lot of, and they were well clear of the third place horse, and number 9 Lindbergh also has some claims. But in a big field with a lot of first timers, this race I'm hoping to survive. I think there's more ground to be made in later races.
There we go, as we skip on to race number 3, and I'm afraid this is not much easier as they are betting 5 to 1 the field. We have two joint favourites at 5 to 1. Number 1 Glee Club with Richard Ferrier aboard for Greg Enion, along with number 5 Gimme the Limelight, Grant van Niekerk for Justin Snaith, and then at 6 to 1 about numbers 6 and 8. You've elected to go 5, 6, and 8, but betting 5 to 1 the field, that tells the tale. Alistair?
Yeah, it's not an easy race, but I don't know what to make of these horses that improved last time or improved at their first start at big prices, whether they showed nothing, whether the form's going to work out weak. So I'm having a bit of a tricky time reading this race and wondering, whether those horses sprung up on connections. For example, I love the run of number 8, Ice Rain on debut. Go watch that from the draw that she was given. She had to take her medicine, and she made up so much ground. She had no right to run 3 lengths off going through the final 200, but she did. So she'll be better, she'll be wiser. The extra 150 meters will suit. But the fact that there was absolutely zero interest in her in the market, not that it would be the null way to support a horse first time out, that just makes me think a little bit. And I suppose the same could be said for number 6, Red Rose of Lancaster, who I've also got, and also took her, well, she was drawn on the wrong side of the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth just before they closed up for 3 months, and she also stayed on nicely behind Among the Clouds in a piece of form that looks a little bit dicey. So 6 Red Rose of Lancaster I think will improve stepping up in distance, but again, was that expected last time out, or was the form weak? I'm not too sure how to read that. I think the most reliable horse in the race is number 5 Gimme the Limelight, funny enough. 2 runs since a break, and they've been better runs, so I think that she's just strengthening up now. She gives me the impression that she's upwardly mobile, as a lot of them do. So 5 Gimme the Limelight, if you're looking for a bet, and I wouldn't recommend going all out, would be number 5, Gimme the Limelight. But I've got a lot of time for 6 and 8 because they did catch the eye to an extent, but there are question marks to the form.
That'll take us on to race number 4, and that'll be the opening leg of the Pick 6. So for the Pick 6 players out there, you need to get your bets on by 13:05. The King's Club Maiden Plate over 1,600 meters. And looking at this race, number 5 is your banker in the Bipot, Apache Chief, a son of Lancaster Bomber, Craig Zaki, Eric Sands. They team up together. Has had 1 run at Durbanville, and that second to Lexicon Point. This is an individual who's going to strip a lot fitter.
And that, of course, Lexicon Points is a stable companion to number 5, Apache Chief, and I can tell you that he is very highly regarded. So, second one after rest, as you say, that's going to suit him well. The extra 200 meters should suit him well. Craig Zaki takes the ride for the first time for Eric Sands. I like the last run. He actually looked like he was going to go on and win until Lexicon Point suddenly rose up and picked up the win right at the end. So, number 5, Apache Chief, I think with the improvement from run 1 to run 2, more improvement to come with the form to his name, I think is a hard horse to beat. It is the opening leg of the Pick 6, so place accumulator Bipot purposes, banker number 5 Apache Chief. There has been a hint of money for number 2 Greenland, who I would be tempted to throw into the Pick 6. Ron Finicek takes a ride, has cracked a draw. This horse is also a half-brother to the great Celtic Sea. And I remember when JP van der Merwe rode him in his penultimate start to Shishlui, who, of course, ran a place in the Langeman. JP told me on the plane, he said, I rode a horse today for Snaith called Greenland, and that's a nice horse. So there's a little bit of help for you. Is held by Norshon, but I think Greenland's coming along the right way now, so that form might just turn around.
On to race number 5, the halfway mark, where number 7, To a Penny, is 22 to 10. Number 1, Lickety Split, is trading at 28-10. Number 2, Green Isle, at around 7-2 with 4-1. Number 9, Could It Be? You've gone with the favourite number 7, 2 a penny, and number 9, Could It Be?
I think Could It Be might be the right one here, Sheldon. I was mildly encouraged with the last run to Red Palace, although fairly well beaten. I thought that she stayed on quite nicely, and that was her first run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. She had a good draw. Not much went wrong, but I still liked the way that she sort of gritted her teeth and fought off all the others for minor positions. There might not be much that was alongside her in the minor positions, so that is a little bit of a curveball, perhaps a little bit of thought that you need to put in. But I think 4-1 about number 9, Could It Be, might be fair value in a fairly open maiden. When I say fairly open maiden, of all the maidens on the card, this might be the one that lacks a little bit of depth. The backup, obviously, number 7, 2 a penny. The improvement from run 1 to run 2 was noticeable. She's got to prove that she goes this distance, but she should, being by twice over out of a dynasty mare. Craig Zaki takes her out for Adam Marcus. Adam's horses are running very nicely at the moment. I think she will improve. I think she'll sustain her improvement and probably deserves her place at the top of the board. So only 7 and 9 for me. If there was one other, I'd probably be more inclined to go to Green Isle over number 1, Lickety Split. The run to De Janeiro last time, De Janeiro just commanded that race. Lickety Split never really laid a glove on her, whereas at least Green Isle was running on last time out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville from a bad position. So maybe the backup could be number 2. But I'm fairly keen on this race. I think number 7 and 9 could be a nice play here.
Rightio, moving on to race number 6. Now, when you look at race number 6, the money horse early is number 7, To the Moon and Back, from 9-2 down 7-2. Number 4, Kimberley Horror, 5-1 with number 6, Pineapple Express, and then 7-1 and better the rest. You've gone with numbers 3, 7, and 12. Let's firstly touch on number 4, Kimberley Horror. When we did the preview last time out, you were having a little bit of jokes about Kimberley Horror and the on-course presenters. You've left this one out of your play, Alistair?
And I can promise you, MJ Bailiffeld, Grant Knowles, and Vicky Minot will leave him out of their play as well. He was on the online sale, funny enough, number 4, Kimberley O'Hara, and fetched a very good price. I'm trying to recall who bought Kimberley O'Hara. I think it might have actually been Sterling Miller, so there might be an ownership update for number 4, Kimberley O'Hara, just before the race. He is so costly to follow. He's so frustrating. The guys in Cape Town say no more, and when he wins, that's fine because they've saved a lot of money by not backing him over the last, how long has it been? I think it was the day that Finicuk rode from a bad draw. So it's 2 starts now that they've completely washed their hands of Kimberley O'Hara, and they'll continue to do so. So that's their side of things. I suppose on paper, number 4, Kimberley O'Hara has a chance, but he has now got a stigma attached to him that he's not too genuine. But funny enough, in this race, Sheldon, there's 3 horses that have gone in the Bipot, and all 3 horses I've been waiting for different reasons. As you mentioned, 3, 7, and 12 are my numbers. The money horse number 7, To the Moon and Back. No surprise there's money. I called his last start to rule of thumb, and he hit a flat spot. He got lost. It wasn't his first run on Hollywoodbets Durbanville, a track that he's not shone on before. But the fact they got blinkers on now, that was my inkling with To the Moon and Back. I thought there's just something missing, and it could be the blinkers. So if the blinkers have the desired effect, big runner. Then there's number 3, Lunch Money, who I also called last time out, and mildly impressed me. It was the second fastest 400 to finish it. You know what it's like calling through binoculars, and you see things and go, maybe no one else saw that. It's difficult to explain, but he ran as if he's going to relish any step up in distance. So here we are trying to 1,600 meters for the first time. He's got to prove he stays the distance, obviously, but I think if he does, he could be very dangerous. And then number 12, Max the Otter. I've been waiting for a rating drop with number 12, Max the Otter. It's 3rd run after arrest as well. His rating's come down from a once 89, in fact quite recently an 89, down to an 80. The draw's a worry, so it might be a case of next time for number 12, Max the Otter. But all 3 of these horses are on my radar, and if I'm getting the right price about all 3, although I won't make money, only one of them can win. If one of them sort of betting bigger than 3-1 at some stage, I might have a bet on all 3 and make baby steps that way in this race.
Well, there you've heard Alistair's case for all 3 of the runners, and take note of those 3, and hopefully one of them come through and do it for you. As we move along to race number 7, due off at 14:55, in race number 7. The slide is coming up on screen. The current favourite, number 8, Future Variety, 22 to 10. 12, Teflon Man is 33 to 10. And it's 11, Tough Terrain at 7 to 1, with number 3, Bluff on Bluff at 8 to 1. 10 to 1 and Better the Balance. Now, Alistair, you've elected to go with the higher numbers here.
I don't like the race, Sheldon. It's probably not a race where you need 3, but it's a race that I need 3 just to sort of be clear in my mind that I've got half a chance. A bit in a quandary why Aldo de May has chosen number 8, Future Variety, over number 10, Captain Arrow. Maybe the fact that Gareth Wright's won on Captain Arrow and Aldo's won on Future Variety, maybe that's the line of thinking. It's probably neither here nor there with those two, because I actually give number 10, Captain Arrow, a bit of a chance. In fact, I give it a good chance in this race. It's difficult to decipher who my top selection is because the race is so open, and I've gone with numbers 10, 11 and 12, and guess where they're drawn. So yeah, they are Captain Arrow, 11, Tough Terrain, good run last time when just touched off by Easy Money. This is slightly harder, but you know, he showed good resolve and good improvement last time, so he's difficult to ignore. And number 12, Teflon Man. Now, very interesting story with Teflon Man. First of all, Dean Canamere hasn't had many runners run in Cape Town. I don't even know if he's had any horses run in Cape Town this season. This might be his first day out. If it's not, it's literally a handful. You can count them on one hand how many horses Dean Canamere has run in Cape Town this season. It was a commanding win last time over Harajuku. Harajuku has, of course, won. The draw's a worry. 1,000 meters is a worry. But he could be, and probably should be, better than everyone else in this race. So it'll be a good test for number 12, Teflon Man, to work out the summer sequence for him.
Right, let's move on to the next race where it's very, very competitive, and I think this was a race that was abandoned or postponed and they re-put it on. A number of the same horses will be competing here over the sprint distance, and when you look at the field, Alistair, there's some quality, but a number of them coming back from rests. And I remember hearing Glenn Hodgson's interview the other day about number 4, King Regent, who is the current favourite, and he said his best form's been over the sprint trips of 1,200 metres.
So that's the horse I like, Sheldon. Yep, this race in the main was supposed to be run last week. A couple of horses have snuck in a week later to perhaps add a little bit more depth. Obviously, scratch number 10, Mew Capitano, who would have been very interesting in this event. Yeah, so number 4, King Regent is my top selection. I don't know if he's the best horse in the race. In fact, he's not the best horse in the race. The handicapper says it's 5 double superlative, and also considering the double superlative is a Grade 1 winner. He won the Cape Guineas in his crop, but obviously he hasn't run in a year and a half, so his fitness needs to be taken on trust. It is, I know, a no pressure run for number 5, double superlative. Although he's reported to be doing very well, there's no way that a progress place at Hollywoodbets Durbanville is his cup final. So expect him to run nicely enough, but you know, the main objective here is to get him going for the summer season. Now, for King Regent, as you mentioned, first of all, he is a half brother to the horse that won the Splash Out 2200 consolation on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day, Crimson King. So he's bred for much further, but no one's told him that. He's unbeaten over 1,200 metres. This is 1,250. For me, that is no difference. Raymond Danielson takes a ride. We were together, obviously, after that meeting got postponed or cancelled last week, and Raymond said the horse that he was really looking forward to riding was number 4, King Regent. His last run to Somerset Morn was an excellent effort. He probably should have and could have won that race. He's kept some good company, and I think coming back to this trip might suit him. If you look past him, it does get complicated because of the quality that's on offer, but I think there was a race at Turfentine on Saturday that was much the same. The fittest horse, not necessarily the best horse, wins races like this. So number 4, King Regent for me.
On to race number 9, the penultimate race of the day, where the favourite is Yamadori. And just talking about Yamadori, just Googling about it and finding out a bit more about this, it literally means collecting of plants in the mountains, but is loosely translated into gathering plants from the wild. And the found plant specimen is then carefully and skillfully trained into works of art, also known as bonsai. So this horse, Yamadori, he's going to be looking to do the opposite and take the money from Hollywoodbets Durbanville.
And, well, when you were giving me the explanation, I would have thought, well, he's got to be by Danon Platina, big bonsai and a few Japanese references there, but he's by Lancaster Bomber. One thing about Drakenstein, they do put a lot of thought into their names, and funny enough, I think that the more thought that goes into the names and the more sort of dare I say, obscure names, those tend to be the better ones. So there we go. There's number 1, Yamadori. He's been to Hollywoodbets Durbanville before, ran third from a bad draw to Cafe Culture. Now gets a good draw. He's one run more experience. I don't think this is a wonderful field by any stretch of the imagination. I think the horses that he has to beat are average horses that are just banging at the door. So I think by default, number 1, Yamadori could end up being the right one. It's not going to be an easy ask with top weight, with 60 kilos and giving weight all round, being a youngster. But I think that it might kind of pay to follow number 1, Yamadori, just because he's improving. A horse that I'm not going to let run loose here, Sheldon, is number 3, Masked Vigilante. He's a better horse in the wet. It is going to be wet at Hollywoodbets Durbanville when they have this meeting. He's not the most genuine around. He needs a bit of luck in running. He had no draw last time out, stayed on nicely behind Questioning, who I know is targeting big races during the Cape Summer. So number 3, Masked Vigilante, include him in all your bets. And these mares that look like they're ready to win, 7 Air of Royalty, 9 Seeking Peace. They haven't won in a while. They got form to recommend. They might get somewhere in the race, but and number 11, Easy Money, also deserves a mention. But I think if number 1, Yamadori, is going to be even above average, he ought to win this race.
Now, you'll know, being a horse racing commentator like myself, when you get some of these names, there's so many different names spread out there. And when you're calling a race, 9 out of 10 times, horses with these names that are very difficult to pronounce, and they got long meanings and long names in that, they often come up and they either win or run second, and they're in the firing line.
And they stick as well. That's another thing. I mean, I didn't look up Yamadori, obviously, before this show, but now I'm going to know all about Yamadori. I'm probably going to extol some of your wisdom at Hollywoodbets Durbanville when he eventually comes out. It's every horse has a story. We probably fall short on telling as many stories as we should. But yeah, you're right. The Yamadori, and if it was Yamadori and True Story, guaranteed they'd end up running 1-2, and they'd be close between them as well.
Right, let's get on to a serious note now. Race number 10, where they are betting 4-1 the field. And Alistair, I've looked through the field. What bet can we have in race number 10? I'm going to leave it totally in your hands.
I don't think this race is as tricky as it looks. I think that Lady Laidlaw is going to win the race with either 2 Mia's Harper or 9 Unconquerable Lady. They're the only 2 horses that I want to know about. Go and watch Unconquerable Lady's last run. I thought at the 400 meters mark, and I nearly said as much in the commentary, I thought Unconquerable Lady would win by 5. And she just never went on with it. Now, Craig Zaki, I know, had the choice to make between the 2 Laidlaw horses, because he's retained now by Lady Laidlaw, and he's gone with his stable number 2, Mia's Harper from the Dean Canamayo yard, who won in the absolute bog last time at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. That was the only race they had, and they called the meeting off. But the way that she ploughed through the mud on that occasion suggests that she'll plough through the mud and probably plough through any going. So she's got a lot to like about her, number 2, Mia's Harper. She's progressive, she's getting better all the time. But I think number 9, the other Dan on Platina, the other Lady Laidlaw runner, number 9, Unconquerable Lady, is going to give her a lot to think about. Mornay Vinod takes her out 56.5, so the reason why Aldo's not in that 56.5 is a big stretch for him. And I see Gareth Wright's gone with number 7, Nordic Quest, which might be a little bit of food for thought. But I'm convinced that after the race, Lady Laidlaw is going to be the winner. With which one? I like what I saw from Unconquerable Lady last time, funny enough. I think she represents the value in the race. So 2 and 9 for me in all bets. I'd almost be tempted to take box swingers, I must be honest. I wish this race was part of the exotics.
There we go. Lady Laidlaw, the yellow and black silks, with number 2, Mia's Harper at 4-1, but number 9, Unconquerable Lady at 8-1. That's the value. Just one other horse that I want to touch on. Number 1, Oni Sun. I think this is a horse that the meeting was postponed or abandoned, that you liked a bit of last time out when it was supposed to run.
Yeah, I did like her last time. She got draw 1, she's got Richard Ferree, so that's got to be in her favour. Her last run to Mojo Man was a good effort. There's a little bit of that form that's obvious and evident earlier on in the day, so that might appeal by the time this race comes around. She's also down on Platina. Could end up being a down on Platina 1, 2, 3. Certainly not impossible.
Excellent. That's the 10-race program. Let's hope everything goes according to plan, and hopefully the sun comes out, and hopefully we can get racing underway. Now, Alistair, you decided to go with the Bipot for the day, so we'll put that Bipot on screen, and if you wouldn't mind just going through those numbers for your suggested bet.
Funny you mentioned the sun's out. Guess what? sun's out right now, and the grey cloud that was above us when we started the show seems to have moved somewhere else. But anyway, this Bipot begins at 12:05, race number 2 on the 10 race card. So 2 and 14 for me in the first leg, Nordic Chief and Kopse Klopse. Second leg 5, 6 and 8, so those are Gimme the Limelight, Red Rose of Lancaster and Ice Rain. Then I've gone Banker 5 Apache Chief in leg 3, which is race 4. If you're looking for backup, could be number 2 Greenland. Then I've gone in the 5th race, which is leg 4, 7 and 9, 2 a penny, and Could It Be. Then race 6, the penultimate leg, all 3 horses I like here, 3 Lunch Money, 7 To the Moon and Back, and 12 Max the Otter. And then the final leg of the Bipot, I've taken a chance with the 3 worst draws, 10, 11 and 12, Captain Arrow, Tough Terrain and Teflon Man.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair, for being on the line, and hopefully on Tuesday, hopefully everything goes according to plan and we get racing underway, but all wait till the final declarations. Thanks very much, Alistair, and have a good day.
Cheers, Sheldon. Always a pleasure. We'll chat soon.
Thanks very much to Alistair Cohen joining us on the line. And as he said, the sun's just popped out, so hopefully no more rain, and the track is raceable on the day, but we'll only know at final declarations or early in the morning, so stand by. But at this stage of the game, we go ahead as they are racing.